Vancouver Resource Investment Conference. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Commodity TV here for you, and it's my honor and pleasure now to talk to a totally different gentleman, Stephen Moore, who is from the Heritage Foundation from the US and who is a senior advisor to Donald Trump. And we want to talk, of course, about mining in the US. Welcome, Stephen.
Hey, great to be with you. What a conference.
Thank you very much for taking the time. That was quite spontaneous, always appreciated.
Fantastic.
So, as you are advising Donald Trump directly, and we know mining is something big or coming really back into the US. So, what is the take on that now?
So, Donald Trump really cares about the mining industry. This is one of the industries he's really targeted for a rebirth in the United States. He cares a lot about the coal miners and is doing what he can to, revive coal mining in the United States. We have a big war against coal in the U.S. But also, there's so many other minerals and metals. The United States and Canada are incredibly resource rich when it comes to minerals.
Definitely.
And so we've lost 80–90% of our jobs in that industry over the last 30 years. And so I believe there's going to be a big push this year and next year, assuming Trump gets reelected, and that's a big if, to get America mining again, to put more people on the job. And one of those industries that I've been looking at is uranium, because uranium production is down. We only have a few hundred miners left, and most of our mines have shut down. There are only a couple left.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be a major initiative by the Trump administration later this year that will use something called the Defense Production Act to produce more uranium in the United States. Right, exactly. And that would put a lot of mines back in business. And the idea is that would be then stockpiled. So because we need uranium, obviously, for our nuclear plants, but also our military, our nuclear submarines and our nuclear arsenal needs uranium. And we can't depend on Vladimir Putin and Russia for our uranium.
Yeah, definitely. But how would that work then? I mean, we have a world price for uranium, and it's approximately $25, $26 per pound. Obviously, nobody can produce except Kazakhstan, maybe profitable out of that. And if I get that correct, in the US, you need at least like $45, $50 per pound, right?
Well, you may be right. I don't know what the price is that's necessary, but I will say this. We view this as an economic and national security issue.
Yeah.
This is being driven in no small part by the U.S. military and the Pentagon that says, look, we cannot depend on countries like Kazakhstan or Russia for our uranium. It's just good planning and good sense to have an American production. And the idea we would stockpile this so that if an emergency arose, for example, look at the turmoil in the Middle East right now with Iran and the uranium situation.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
This is something that's really being driven by the U.S. Department of Energy and the U.S. military.
Definitely. As far as I know, last year production numbers were like 2 million pounds approximately
Something
for the
like
US were produced. You imported approximately 50 million, right?
Yes.
So I would guess like 96% are imports.
Yes.
And most of that comes out of Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan,
well, we get some
Russia
of it
probably.
From Canada and Australia.
Canada, of course, also,
But increasingly it's coming from, and by the way, China wants to get into this game too.
Yeah.
And look, we cannot depend on China and Russia for our national security. We just can't. These are threats to the United States. And so, the idea would be to have the U.S. Department of Energy, Department of Defense, actually purchasing American uranium and stockpiling it so that it's there for emergencies. And this is important. Donald Trump believes that this is critically important for our economic and national security.
Yeah, but don't you have this nuclear working group now?
Yes, this is part of that.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is the.
So when can we get a decision out of that?
Well, that
would be
64. I don't know. I think something is going to come soon. The big debate is whether I believe Trump will do this. You asked the key question, when? And I believe it's going to happen sometime later this year before the election, but it might get kicked into 2021. One of the arguments that we've been making is, look, we don't want to, the longer we wait, the more expensive it's going to be, because once you shut down these mines, it's much more expensive to reopen them.
And it takes much longer to reopen them.
Right.
Okay,
so there's an urgency here.
That's right.
And we need to get Trump to understand that. But I think he does. And I think Trump gets it. It's just you get this bureaucratic inertia in Washington, and it's just hard to get things done. We got to keep pushing. But I think that if this happens, imagine what that's going to mean for the uranium industry here in the United States and
Yeah, should
Canada.
be very positive.
Very positive.
Yeah, super. And I mean, companies like UEC, they can be right back in production like 4 to 6 months. That would help them also,
I just talked
because then they get security.
I talked to Amir, who's the president of that company. I asked him that very question. I said, Amir, assuming that Trump pulls the trigger on this, and he said, something like 4 to 6 months.
Exactly.
We can be. And by the way, that would mean, think about this in terms of American politics. You know, we have an important election coming up in November, and so it would be good politics, frankly, for Trump to have this. You know, so he could actually go visit some of these sites and say, look, I'm putting these miners back to work. The Democrats are saying they want to put them out of work.
Yeah, fantastic. Any other metals you think you can really
So the other big one is the precious metals, and this has become an increasingly strategic problem for the United States. Now 90% of strategic minerals that we need for defense, for high technology, for medical purposes, you know, for aircrafts, for green energy projects, we're importing those. And the United States has more.
You have them.
We have
in
them.
the ground.
So we have to start producing those, and Trump, I think, is very attentive to that as well.
Super. So that means mining is coming back into the U.S.
I hope so. And we'll see. You know, we'll see. But I think the outlook is mildly positive.
Super, perfect, Stephen. Thank you very much. It was a great statement, and let's keep fingers crossed, because we need more mining in this world. Supply is shrinking, and especially as you pointed it out, you don't want to be dependent on, let's say, curious states.
Amen.
Right?
Amen.
Super. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Great. Thank you, Stephen. Ladies and gentlemen, there was Stephen Moore from the Heritage Foundation, directly advisor to Donald Trump, and you heard it. Mining is coming back. Mining is in front of a big comeback here in the U.S., and the support here, especially for uranium, to reduce the dependency on foreign sources. I think that's
and
good.
coal, by the way. I think Trump wants to do coal as well.
And coal, of course, also. So I think
and strategic minerals.
Also for sure. Exactly. And so I think the mining industry gets big support here from the politics. This is very positive and good news for the miners. So stay tuned, check it out. Thanks for watching us, and bye bye from Vancouver.